What's up? What is happening? I see that Tamara, you are here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday. I know it looks like kind of gloomy outside, but it's still a happy Sunday because like through those individual clouds you can still see a little bit of sunlight, and that's all that we could ask for. Hey Alexia, hey Rachel. It feels like I haven't seen you guys and girls in like five ever. So this is, I mean, I'm still not technically seeing you guys, but like being able to talk, being able to see the words that you guys and girls put on the screen. That is what we're gonna say. I see that Alina's here, Malachi's here, Aaron's here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So because I haven't really talked with you guys, see what I did there. Engaged with you guys, see what I did there again. And I feel like it's been like a week. It's been a week. That's too long. That's too long. All right. What are some cool and interesting things that you guys and girls have done this past week? Okay. Some interesting, cool things that you awesome people have done this week. Just throw it in the Alexia, how could you have done nothing? Like, you couldn't have done absolutely nothing because nothing is this. But even still that, you're still doing something because you're looking, you're thinking, hey, Jai, I learned how to do a backflip into the pool. That's pretty sick. Jai said, I got my first dose of the vaccine. Okay, congratulations on that. Alexia said, oh. Aaron said, I got my vaccine. Congratulations. Congratulations. Big milestone, big step, big step. That is awesome. As all of you are still throwing in. Alina. Kill it, have a great time because it's gonna be fun. If you like, I don't really like needles, so I'm not even a front. It's not that fun. It's not that fun, but it's needed. You feel me? It's needed. And as you are continuously throwing maybe some of the other cool things that you guys did in the chat, I did something cool. Okay. I wasn't here because I went away. I had some vacation time. I climbed mountains, okay? I climbed mountains and I seen scenery that was wonderful. I drank water out of a lake. I did a lot of cool, interesting, fun, super awesome, coolio things that I did. Alexia said I went down to a lake and went on a long walk. See, you did something and you trying to say you did nothing? That's something. Benny, what's up? Samuel, congratulations. But we're going to actually continue on. It's week 2 of Into the Unknown. And I know that all of you were able to kind of hopefully come last week and engage in that and have some fun. Also went rock climbing yesterday. That is sick. I'd love to learn how to rock climb. It looks really fun. Ayumi, what's up? But all of you, hopefully were there last week when we started our series Into the Unknown and learning about how the unknown is okay and not knowing things, as scary as it seems, is okay because we have God and Jesus on our side. And our bottom line for today is this. It is God goes with you into the unknown. And I know with the start of school coming up very, very fast, I hope I didn't hurt any of your feelings to remind you that school is in approximately literally a month. In a month, you will be starting school. Congratulations. But with that comes a lot of uncertainty, right? We're in a new grade. We have a new class. It can bring a lot of uncertainty and a lot of unknown things. So it's really cool that we're talking and we're learning about how in unknown situations how God is with us, and with all of us kind of looking towards September and a lot of the unknowns with school, with classes. I hope that through this series we're able to better tackle it, and that there's not that anxiousness about things that are unknown, especially with a new grade. I know, right? Alexia's like, no, but we're gonna start, and then you know the drill. We're gonna watch the video. We're gonna ask some questions, and then we're gonna have some fun while we do all of it. So, and what's up, Angelique? Without further ado, let's get into the unknown.
One step for mankind, and I don't know the rest. Hey friends, my name is Esther, and today we are talking about change. When we go through change, it's like walking into the unknown, right? We don't know what to expect. Whether good or bad, life is full of unknowns, uncertainties, and changes, right? As middle schoolers, you go through all kinds of change. I bet you're thinking about some changes right now. Changes at home, changes at school, changes with your friends, changes in your team, changes in the way you look, changes in what you believe. The list is huge. Whether going into the unknown in our lives results in good changes or not so good changes, I think we can all agree that dealing with these changes isn't always easy. When your dad gets remarried and you get a really great, cool stepmom, that's good, right? But still means that you have to adjust to a new person in the house. And that can be a difficult part of change. Or when you get moved to the starting lineup on your team. That's amazing, right? But it still means that you have to handle all the pressures of leading the team. And that can be a scary part of change. When you move to a cool new house, in a cool new neighborhood, that can be fun, right? But it still means getting to know new people at a new school, in a new place, and that can be the hard part of change. Those are just the positive changes. I mean, if changes like that can be difficult to deal with, what about the kinds of changes that aren't so good? What about the ones that we don't want? The kind that leaves us wishing everything could go back the way it was before. Maybe for you, it was a breakup with your boyfriend or girlfriend. No matter how much you wanted to get back together, you knew it just wasn't going to happen. Or maybe your parents separated and you hoped that they will work it out and fix their relationship, but instead they ended up getting divorced. Maybe you were the captain of the baseball team last season, but this season your coach picked someone else. Or maybe you used to be the star in the drama club, but this year someone else took the lead role. You can't change the fact you moved to a new school. You can't change the fact that you were moved to a different math class. You can't change the fact that your best friend chose a new group. You can't change the fact that your friends rejected or disappointed you. You can't change the fact that you failed that test. You can't fix the changes that make your life feel a little bit broken right now. When something changes in a way that we don't want it to, it feels like something has fallen apart in our lives, doesn't it? And I don't know about you, but when that happens, what I try to do is fix it. I find myself thinking, I just want things to go back to the way they were. But what I've learned is that a lot of times that is impossible. Sometimes going into the unknown means that whatever it is that feels broken simply can't be fixed. And that can leave us feeling sad, angry, frustrated, even helpless. When you're going through changes like that, sometimes it feels like nothing else can be done. Maybe you've even wondered why God hasn't done something about it. And honestly, now you feel frustrated and disappointed, both with a change that's so permanent in your life and with God who seems to be doing nothing to help you through it. If you ever felt like that, Just know that you are not the only one. Almost every person who has ever experienced difficult or painful change in their lives has thought the same things. That's why it's important for us to know that while God hasn't promised you to change everything to be the way we want, God has promised us something else. And I think it's something that can help us when we go through the unknowns in our lives. A long time ago, there was a group of people who experienced a lot of changes in their lifetime. They were known as the Israelites. And what they lived through thousands of years ago actually plays a major role in our faith today. Starting with a man named Abraham. God created a nation or a group of people of Israel in an area of the world that we now call the Middle East. It was out of that group of people that God would one day send Jesus into the world. So the nation of Israel was really a big deal to God. They were a part of God's plan to free and save the whole world through Jesus. But also along the way, the Israelites went through a lot of struggles and unknowns and changes. They made a lot of mistakes and missteps that got them into all kinds of trouble. Other nations will come and take over them and even capture them. I mean, this happened over and over and over again. You think that because they were God's chosen people, they had it all figured out, that they wouldn't keep making choices that got them into trouble, that they would know how to deal with changes and unknowns that they experienced in their journey. But remember, these people were just that. People. And like us, they were people who didn't always handle change well. So what did they do? Well, every time they found themselves in trouble, they did what a lot of us would do. They asked God to fix it, to change it, to make things go back to the way they were. Sometimes God did, sometimes God didn't. But no matter what God did with the changes that the nation of Israel was dealing with, God always promised them something they could hold on to as they walk through the unknown. And it's the same thing God promised us today. Take a look. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. When you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. Okay, so first of all, I think that we've got to pay attention to the way that this was worded. When you pass through the waters, when you pass through the rivers, when you walk through the fire. It's not if, but when. In other words, this stuff is going to happen. Things are going to change. We are going to experience the unknown. We are going to find ourselves in difficult circumstances. That's a guarantee. But what's also a guarantee is what God promised us when that happens. God promised us to be with us through it. And because of that promise, we can be confident when everything changes. Now, I don't know if that's the type of promise you were hoping for. Honestly, sometimes I wish God would have said something else too. Maybe something like, no matter how hurt you are, or no matter how bad your situation is, I am going to fix it. I'm going to make things go back the way they were, and it will all be great. I'm going to make change easy for you by only making it the easy kind. But that's not what God said. And that makes me think maybe God knows something we don't. Maybe God knows that more than anything, we need to trust that when we go into the unknowns in our lives, God is with us. Think about it as this astronaut, When they're going into the unknown of space, they just don't float around on their own. No, they're literally tethered. Where's the tether? There you go. They're literally tethered to their spaceship. They have this cord that connects their suit to the safety of their ship, and it keeps them near the other astronauts on their mission. No matter how scary outer space might get or how far off they drift, the astronaut can trust that they're never alone. And the same is true when we go into the unknown in our lives. When change happens, and it always will, God, who never changes, is with us. We may not have a literal cord that connects us to God like an astronaut does to their ship, but we can trust that God is always near. God never leaves us. And that includes when we're experiencing all kinds of change. That's what I want you to remember today. God goes with you into the unknown. No matter what you're going through or what's happening at home, no matter how hurt you feel over what your friends did to you, or how sad you are because life will never go back to the way it was, God goes with you into those unknowns. And if you think about it, that really is an amazing promise. Because when I was hurting from the changes life has brought me, the last thing I want to feel is alone. I want to know someone is going through it with me. Sometimes just knowing someone is there for us can make us feel a lot better. And when that someone is God, who is bigger than anything that's happening around us, well, that's just pretty cool. I think that God's presence with us is the answer that we really need. When God finally fulfilled the promise to send Jesus into the world through the nation of Israel, one of Jesus's names was Emmanuel. That means God with us. It was a name that would remind us that God is with us always. Jesus' life on earth was direct proof that God is with us all the time. While on earth, Jesus said something similar to God's promise in Isaiah. Check this out. I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. Jesus didn't shy away from the fact that we'll face troubling changes. In fact, he guaranteed we had to go into the unknown through our entire lives. But he told us to take heart, which means have courage and remain strong because he had overcome the world. And when we believe in and know Jesus, we can trust that he's got it covered. Knowing Jesus changes everything. See, there is no change God can't handle. There are no unknowns we walk through without God by our side. God has made the promise to be with us and never leave us. And because of that, we can be confident when everything changes, knowing that the God of the universe hasn't left us to face it alone. Because God goes with you into the unknown. So what do we do? Since change is going to happen, whether we want it or not, how can we do what Jesus said to do? How can we take heart and know that God is with us? I think it means making some decisions. First, we have to make a decision to trust God in the middle of the unknown. We have to trust that God is with us through the uncertainty of change. We have to choose to believe that's true over and over and over again. Maybe for you, that means saying it out loud when you're struggling through change. God is with me. Maybe it's writing it down or asking a friend to remind you of it. Or it means memorizing one of the verses we read today to help you when you need it. Whatever this looks like for you, make a choice to believe and remember that God goes with you into the unknown. Second, act like God is with you. God's very spirit lives inside of you. God couldn't be any closer. You can talk to God anytime, all the time, about anything. You can tell God what's worrying you and ask for help. If you're having a hard time remembering God is with you, try to remind yourself that God's there and that you are not alone. Make the decision to act like God is with you while you're into the unknown and deal with the uncertainty of change. And finally, change how you respond to change. We can't always control the things that are happening to us. We can't control or stop or change what comes our way, but we can control is how we respond to them. Instead of shutting down, we can choose to open up to a friend or even your small group leader. Instead of acting out in anger, we can choose to pause, take a breath, and go for a walk, or say a quick prayer. Instead of giving up when we face the unknown, we can choose to believe there is more to come in our story. We can choose to believe that God goes with us into the unknown. And not only that, There are people here at church who want to be with you through change. Your group is here to support you, encourage you, and stay with you through all of the unknowns. In the good and the bad, there are a group of friends who can help you walk through change and remember that God is with you. Are you there?
Okay, so I know you guys are saying the chat was dead, but I'm here and it's not dead. It wasn't dead. You guys were just saving the conversation for now. That's what it was. That's what it was. That's what we're gonna believe. But okay, so right off the bat, I have a question that I want to ask everyone here. Okay, and throw your answer into the chat box. There is no right, there's no wrong answer to this question. It's more of an exploratory question, an icebreaker if you must. But the question is this: if you can change anything in the world, what would you change? Okay, if you can change anything in the world, any one thing, what would it be? Okay, what would it be? Anything. Okay, so Angelique said COVID. Samuel and Jai also said COVID. Okay. Daniel also said COVID. Benny said COVID. Alina said world peace. Okay. We got some big ideas out here. Warren said bottomless stomach. That is a throwback to definitely me. But nah, if I'm being honest, I would probably want to change, and you're gonna laugh, but like it has to do with that, man. I probably change where like everyone can have the ability to have clean drinking water and food to eat. Because that's an essential that unfortunately and surprisingly, a lot of people don't actually have clean drinking water and food to eat. No, I'm not gonna say COVID actually. Yeah, see, come on. See, come on, guys, don't do that to me. But those are all some really big ideas and really good things to change. I see that Alexia put racism and discrimination. But yeah, those are all some big things that if we could change would probably make life a lot better. But here's question numero 1. What's one example of change that's fun? Okay, so in our lives, what is an example of change that was fun where we were like, yeah, I actually really loved this change? But I'll start as everyone is throwing stuff into the chat. I think one example of change that's fun, it happens every year. So like, this is great. This is fantastic. But when we move from winter to spring, it's like the best thing ever because we get away from cold and we move into the glorious heat. That's the type of change that's fun. Alina said going to a new school. That could be fun. You're right. Change being fun. I don't know. Bottomless stomach would be fun. Warren. To discover new experiences, going on more field trips, more in school, that would be fun. School in summer. I'm gonna have to say no to that one. End of school. End of school. I could see it. End of school could be fun because you're like, yes, I made it. So those are good. Space. Oh no, you're just typing in random stuff. I see. But yeah, those are all. I mean, you guys said it, and girls, those are all changes that you would feel like are fine. This is probably weird, but I like that my BSF left me. What's a best friend? Sometimes no, Angelique, that makes sense because sometimes shifting and maybe even changing a best friend can be fun, and like that pursuit of a best friend, that can be fun. Angelique says she doesn't, and I'm not gonna say it because I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble. You feel me? I got you. But she says she doesn't. She said she doesn't. All right, next question, and this will be our last questions. All right, and then you know the drill. What's one thing you do when you're dealing with change that is hard? Okay, what is one thing that you do? Wow, sorry. What's one thing that you do when you're dealing with change that's hard? Okay, what's one thing? For me, like, I'm not the type of person that really enjoys change too much. Okay, I create rhythms and routines because they help me feel safe. They help me feel comfortable. So when I go through change, it's kind of tough. So like one thing that I'll do is like, so say, let me give you an example. All right, if I'm trying to eat healthier, okay? If I'm trying to eat healthier and I'm trying to move away, let's use an example of like moving away from like potato chips. All right, if I notice like, dang, potato chips are just really unhealthy. What I'll do in order to like help me deal with change that's hard, so like if eating potato chips or not eating potato chips is hard, I probably not buy potato chips. You feel me? And like if there's like a section in the grocery store that sells potato chips, I'm dodging a section, okay? Because I'm trying to change. So I would literally basically remove or try as much as I can to remove the thing that I'm trying to change from so that it's not even a temptation to go back, because I know for myself, change is something that is hard. Now, let's see what you awesome people wrote. Oh, this jumped really quickly. Pray to God, annoy my sister. How does that help? Honestly, Malachi, you're amazing. Tamara said, I listen to music. That's a good one. That is a good one. You said you had, and then you didn't, so it was confusing. Complain about it and try to get things back to normal. That is a big one. That's an honest answer, and that's a big one, right? Like sometimes we may change, but we'll complain about it and then be like, I know it's good for me, but I'm finna eat my potato chips still, and you go and buy potato chips. So that's a real answer. So thank you for that. Not that all your answers aren't real. Oh, by the way, yesterday I learned something. Okay, green potatoes are actually apparently toxic. I mean, okay. I'm gonna assume that you said that because potato chips are made out of green potatoes, but so no one else. Not eating Cheetos is hard, right? Because potato chips are nice, and Cheetos, especially the jalapeno or flaming hot ones, jeez, they're nice, man. They're nice. I'm really confused now, Daniel. Just don't worry about it. Angelique said, I listen to music. So yeah, there's a lot of things that we may do to help us with our change. And honestly, I love the honesty and the realness from every single answer, because what we do with change, or at least what we said we do with change, is the ideal, okay? A lot of us gave the ideal answer to how we deal with change. So it's like, in a perfect world, this is what I would do. And there was one answer that was real and honest. And it was like, yeah, no, sometimes I'm just going to complain about it and then not change. And that is the greatest thing, like, about kind of having these conversations and stuff like that, is that spectrum is so wide. And honestly, that's how we all act with change. Is we have the ideal answer, we have the ideal situation where we're like, yeah, when dealing with change that's hard, I'm going to do X, Y to help because I know it's hard. But the reality is it can extend from that to, you know what, I'm just actually not going to change and I'm just going to complain about it. And it's really cool because in all of that, just like we learned today, that God is with us in the unknown. So when change comes, when we are leading up to an experience that we know is changing and it's leading us into an unknown situation where we have that spectrum of how am I going to deal with this? There's one thing that actually remains constant throughout that change, throughout that spectrum, and it's the fact that God is with us. And that's a constant that is actually really important because with God, like we see it in the Bible, there's verses about it. Through him, we can do anything. And that he guides our feet. It's like a lamp unto our feet. So when we look at change, as difficult, as nerve-wracking as it can be, as much as going into the unknown can bring a lot of, and I know this is pretty obvious, but bring a lot of unknowns to the situation, there is one known. And that one known is literally the creator of this universe. And it's the fact that God goes with us into the unknown. So that, and I know it's easier to say than to do. Trust me, I'll be like the first person to raise my hand because I don't like change. Change is a scary thing for me. But one thing that I can rely on is that the God of the universe is with me. And no matter the change, no matter the adjustment that is made, no matter the unknown, I know that the God who is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow is with me. And that I'll be able to handle the change, whether it be good change, bad change, or like meh change. And I know you know what meh change means. It's like, it doesn't really affect me, but like I still have to change for it. So that is our talk. And I hope that that's what you guys and girls would leave with today, is understanding that our bottom line is a true statement, that God goes with us into the unknown. So even coming up to September, our prayer and our hope here is that no matter the change, all of you are going into new grades, maybe even a new school, maybe transitioning into junior high, maybe transitioning out of junior high. And it can be scary, it can be unknown. And I hope that you know that God goes with you in all of those transitions. So that is our prayer for today. I am also going to pray, and then we will call it a wonderful day. And I will see all of you awesome people on Wednesday. So let us pray. All right. Dear God, I thank you so much for every single student here. And as we talk about change, Lord, it's something that's tough for all of us, Lord, myself included, Lord, especially when the change is unknown, especially when there's a lot of factors being just brought into that change, Father. So, Lord, I just pray, Lord, that we would lean on what the bottom line today says and how it just simply says that God goes with us into the unknown. And I just want to stress, and I just want to pray over every single student, every single person listening, and even myself, Lord, that when change happens, Lord, and a lot of things seem unknown, Lord, that we would rely on the one known thing, and that's you, Father, and that's that you care for us, that you love us, and that you want the best for us. So we thank you for that now, in your name. Amen and amen. Well, friends, it has been a pleasure to be back with all of you wonderful people, and I cannot wait to see your faces on Sunday, or Wednesday. Let's bring that back. Can't wait to see all of your awesome faces on Wednesday. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. And I will see you then. So have a great week. Have a great couple of days. I know it's supposed to rain today, but maybe just breathe some fresh air, because I know sometimes you get cooped up in the house, or try something new today. So Have a great rest of your Sunday, and I will see you in 2 to 3 business days. Well, technically, depends on how you count it. It's 2 to 3 business days, but see ya, friends. See ya.